Today, the faithful slave was put in charge of providing spiritual food for God's people who number into the millions. The slave also shows complete trust in Jehovah that he will guide them with his Holy Spirit. What makes it possible for the faithful and discreet slave to provide precious spiritual food? I will give you insight and instruct you in the way you should go, says Jehovah. Psalm 32, verse 8. Today, Jehovah provides direction to the slave through Jesus. Jesus, in turn, provides direction for his people through the faithful and discreet slave. This is not to say that the slave is perfect and never makes mistakes, but Jehovah and Jesus trust the imperfect slave who cares for things to the best of his ability and with the best of motives. Shouldn't we then trust the imperfect slave as well?
Hello, everybody.
Howdy. So what do you do when it's raining outside and you have an outdoor job and your boss elects to send you home because there's nothing to do outdoors in the rain and all the work that you're required to do indoors is finished?
And then you get home and Kimmy is talking to somebody on Facebook, and I want to thank Ben and his family. Hi, sweeties. Thank you so much for this information. So it's like, Mikey, you got to help me do a video.
Yeah, we're going to actually revisit something, talk about a few other things that Kim and I have talked about. We've been watching, some of you guys' videos. Serpent Dawn. I watched one of your videos this morning before I went to work, and you're absolutely right. Religion needs to go. Because when you stop and think about the whole religious experience, we're all taught to pray, oh God, forgive us for our sins. I'm an unworthy man, yada, yada, yada. And what you don't realize, what you're doing is you're actually bringing yourself down. You're not lifting your spirits up. You're constantly... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're putting negativity out into the universe.
Yeah.
And that's all you're going to get back.
And you're constantly reminding yourself how worthless you just might be. So stop it. Bring yourself up. This is exactly what cults do. Now, I know in the comment section, somebody's going to say, but what about the model prayer when Jesus said, oh, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us? Think about what that scripture is saying. Think about what that scripture is saying. There is no need to ask God for forgiveness of your sins when you've already forgiven your fellow man. One outweighs the other. Think about it. And so many of these friends are really beginning to connect the dots and really begin to think about some of the things that we've been presenting through our YouTube channel.
Some have not.
Some have not. Exactly.
Because I was going to say, we were just talking, about some that used to be our friends who were Christians. And we were talking about how all of us talk about Jehovah's Witnesses' conditional love.
Exactly.
And how many have we lost in the past 10 months because they don't agree with some of the videos or some of the things we may have said? Well, isn't their love conditional then?
Exactly.
If you can't be friends with someone who may have a different idea on religion than you, then that's conditional love.
I mean, it's conditional love. No matter how you slice it, dice it, and serve it up. That's just the facts, friends. That's just the facts.
But getting back to the video, I want to thank Ben, like I said, and his family. And he sent me a picture. And he said, this is in the French magazine. And I thought that was interesting. And I said, what magazine is that? Because it may possibly be in ours. See, this is why we keep all the Watchtower literature. I know some have made negative comments about us having all the Watchtower literature. But this is why we use it. If you tell a Jehovah Witness or have a print up like this and say, this is what, goes from Jehovah to Watchtower, through the literature down to Jehovah's Witnesses. They're going to say, yeah, right, well, that's the French magazine.
Actually, you've kind of got that wrong there, sweetie. It
What?
goes from Jehovah to Jesus to the
what?
organization, then down to the JW. But that's why that opening clip was so important, because they're saying, well, if Jesus or Jehovah and Jesus trust the faithful slave, then shouldn't the rank and file trust?
Well, there
The
was
faithful
so
slave?
much packed into that,
Oh, yeah.
minute, just a minute clip, because they admit that the faithful slave / governing body is infallible. And even though they're imperfect, if Jesus and Jehovah trust them, then shouldn't you? So this raises a big question, and this is why we wanted to revisit this, after Ben had sent us this picture, because we found it in our blonde volumes.
Yeah, because what it really becomes, guys, it's not an issue of trust, it's an issue of bullshit, is what it is. Because honestly, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
This is the 1987 Watchtower, and Mike will tell you what month and page.
Yes, it's on page 11 of the October 1st, 1987 Watchtower.
So, they're saying, even though they're imperfect men, it goes directly from Jehovah to Jesus to Watchtower, the faithful slave.
So it's not a trust issue, guys, because either Jesus is transmitting this stuff properly from Jehovah to the faithful slave, or the faithful slave is pulling this shit right out of their ass.
Well, it even gets more insidious than that, to where this is where these cults, indoctrinate people. Because I have a quote here from the simplified edition of the Watchtower, July 15th, 2011, page 24. And right here in this box, you'll see this big box right there. It says, we need to obey the faithful and discreet slave to have Jehovah's approval. So they're saying you can't have God's approval unless you obey the faithful slave. And we know from the November 2013 Watchtower, that infamous one, that you need to be ready to obey, even if it doesn't sound logical from a human standpoint or not.
Yeah, and that's why scriptures like Psalms 146 verse 3 are so important to Jehovah's Witnesses still sitting in that kingdom hall, thinking that the faithful and discreet slave is the entity that Jesus, aka God, is using. It says, do not put your trust in nobles, nor in the sons of earthly men, whom there is no salvation.
So they're saying, even though we're imperfect men, we're the faithful slave. And if Jehovah and Jesus trust us, shouldn't you? That is one of the biggest marketing ploys
ever
in the world that has, been used for 100 years, if not more.
So look at the snare and the racket that you're involved in. The Watchtower, aka the governing body, says, well, if Jesus trusts us, then shouldn't you? But your own very Bible says, do not put your trust in the sons of earthling man, whom there is no salvation. Do you see the problem you Jehovah's Witnesses face? Because you've got a man saying, trust us, but you've got allegedly God's word saying, don't trust men. Wow, you guys just don't know how to escape this bullshit, do you? You just don't know how to escape it, because, you're given this picture from this Watchtower that says, well, look, God is giving it directly to Jesus, and Jesus is giving it directly to the organization. Wait a minute. Do not put your trust in the sons of earthling men.
Well, not only that, we've covered it before in our videos that, Jesus, it says that Jesus is the mediator for all. And yet here's Watchtower saying, oh, no. We've covered this many times, quotes, that Jesus is only the mediator for the faithful and discreet slave, the 144,000, the governing body, those guys.
Yes. And it's really interesting that we actually have to recover this because we've already done this maybe once, twice. This is probably the third time. But there's so many Jehovah's Witnesses waking up, finding our channel. I mean, honestly, what do we get? 100 new subscribers a week, a month? I mean, I don't remember what
I've actually been watching it, you know, because I thought maybe because we were slowing down on videos, we were slowing down on subscribers, but we're averaging 100 to 150 a week.
A week. That's how many new people are waking up out of the Watchtower and Babel Crap Society. So some of these things we have to go and cover and, you know, maybe make a little more updated stuff, a little more relevant, or I don't know. But friends, we've already covered these subjects multiple times.
If you go to our YouTube channel and click on videos and the whole list of videos comes up, there's a little search box. Sorry, the dog here's choking on something or snoring or something. And type in that search box a subject that you're interested in or looking for, and usually several videos will pop up. You know, but we do like to revisit these things and update things. And I just want to read this from an older Watchtower, 1957, June
Pardon
15th.
me, the dog's wanting to get out of the chair.
Okay, so I've got the June 15th, 1957 Bond volume, page 370. And the name of the article is Overseers of Jehovah's People. And in the 7th paragraph, I just want to read this because it's interesting, because it's talking about God's channel. Now remember, they say they are God's channel. Even though Jeffrey Jackson testified that it would be presumptuous to think they're the only, you know,
Right.
God's channel, we know they believe differently. Paragraph 7. Let us now unmistakably identify Jehovah's channel of communication for our day, that we may continue in his favor. Listen to the inspired answers to the situation in Matthew 24, 45 through 47. And I'm not going to read those verses because we're all familiar. That is the faithful and discreet slave, you know, that
Who
gets
really
appointed.
is.
The master
Yeah.
appoints over his domestics. Okay? He will appoint him over all his belongings. End of the quote verses. And has he? Yes! Particularly since 1919, has it been true that he has appointed the collective body of the anointed remnant over all the visible interests of the kingdom. The slave then became responsible not only for ministering to the needs of the anointed body members, but also for taking on the responsibility of preaching the good news of the established kingdom to people of all nations. Such is true not by their determination of it, but because God himself has so directed. God has set the members in the body, each one of them, just as he pleased, is the way it is pictured in 1 Corinthians 12:18. It is vital that we appreciate this fact and respond to the direction of the slave as we would to the voice of God, because it is his provision. So they're basically saying that the faithful slave is the voice of God.
Exactly. And that's no different than any other cult in this world. It's the same thing. The Catholics believe the Pope is the vicar of Christ. The Watchtower and Babel Crap Society have claimed that they are the voice of God. This whole picture depicts this. So how is it that Watchtower and Babel Crap Society, you can get one of your governing idiots to do a broadcast and say, well, we're not infallible.
Even though we're imperfect, you can trust us because we're being directed by Jehovah and Jesus.
Exactly. I mean, it's just... how many times do we have to revisit this before the rest of the rank and file begin to wake up? Because what Kim and I are seeing on some of these car crashes is utterly sad for the Jehovah's Witnesses.
In fact, we have a clip, and you watched this, and it is from the YouTube channel
Jude 3, I believe it is.
Jude 3?
Yeah, we'll try to put a link down below so everybody can see it.
We'll get it again and put a link down below. But let's watch.
So I just hope that you guys care about kids. I've talked to you before, And I feel like when I talk to the elders and you guys, you won't talk about children. Ladies, just know I love you. Ma'am, I know that you don't like me. I understand that. But I'm trying to love you, ma'am. I really want you to see that this organization's lying to you. You walk away, I'm talking about children being abused, molested, and they're just walking away. They sit here, they want to get their time in. What do we got for books? Does God care about you? The 12, look at this. May I have one, ma'am? Ma'am, may I take one of these, ma'am? Is this how Jesus acts, ma'am? Because the Jesus of the Bible is not Michael the Archangel. He didn't swoop down right now to save you guys, so I'm not sure how that works. So, 12 secrets of successful families. Sisters won't talk about children being abused. Hi. A&E on November 13th, guys. They're going to do a special on Jehovah's Witnesses. Protect your children and know who comes to your house. Okay, guys? God bless you. Ladies, have a nice day. Know I came in love. Okay?
How sad. I mean, they can't even stand their own ground any longer, especially when it comes to the child sexual abuse issue. You don't want to hear it no more, do you, Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, a lot of times, a lot of the Jehovah's Witnesses that, are talking to their family members, they're telling them, this is Satan's media lies and propaganda. So they don't even believe these reports that are on TV.
Well, I think on some level, they are seeing it. They are waking up to it because, well, we continuously get emails all the time from Jehovah's Witnesses saying, hey, I'm just waking up. I found your YouTube channel. This has been my experience. I am a victim of child sexual abuse. I'm a victim of adult abuse. I'm a sister just waking up, and I need to tell you about how my husband, my JW husband, elder, abuses me. Whether that be mentally, physically, spiritually, or sexually. Watchtower Babel Crap Society, make no mistake about it. We are hearing these stories.
And this isn't Satan's media lies. This is one-on-one emails, that these, abuse survivors are contacting us and telling us their stories.
And that's why I said a few weeks ago in a video, the whole face of activism is changing. It's no longer pointing out flip-flop doctrines, what they said 15, 20, 50 years ago. 607 is a done deal.
Well, look at what happened, right after the Australian Royal Commission came out with their findings against Watchtower. Last fall, I believe it was, in 2017, November, I believe it was November. Of 2017, the Australian Royal Commission came out with their final findings and found Watchtower negligent of protecting children. And what happened? Within, it was just like a week or two, and then that Gary Barreau comes out and we will never change the two-witness rule. So that was basically an FU to the Australian Royal Commission. Yeah. And even now, there's an interview going around with Stephen Unthank in Australia. And it's like, Watchtower, just say you're sorry and sign up for the redress. But they can't even do that.
Well, here's the problem. When you say you're sorry, you're having to admit it's not coming from Jesus Christ, a.k.a. Jehovah.
Well, then you have to ask, what kind of God in Jesus is it that won't direct you? You say you're being directed by God, Jehovah. How come Jehovah's not directing you to apologize?
To make apologies.
And make amends to these abuse survivors?
Yeah. How come Jehovah's not doing this? If this is Jehovah's organization, that would be the first damn thing he'd be doing as a loving God, directing his organization. But no, instead, what you Jehovah's Witnesses are continuously hearing is, oh, we're growing by leaps and bounds. Here's the thing, Watchtower. We are getting emails from awake Jehovah's Witnesses asking your idiotic elders, how come the Kingdom Halls are selling? How come our Kingdom Halls ain't full? How come we're having to merge to make it look like we're growing by leaps and bounds? And what are some of the elders saying? Well, we're selling these Kingdom Halls so that we can funnel the money to India so that we can help the Indian brothers grow and expand. And it's like, do you not see the bullshit?
Well, I was going to save it for a nail in coffin, but someone, their elder relative is actually being sent to India to, start these congregations. And this is what he's told the family, that the reason they have to sell all these Kingdom Halls is so that the money can go to build halls in India. And then just this morning, someone said that they heard a rumor, we haven't verified this yet, it's just a rumor, that the India branch is, looking to be the next one.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got a bullshit organization continuously funneling the bullshit down to the elders, who funnel the bullshit down to the rank and file. It's like, my goodness, Watchtower, the vast majority of the rank and file understand the bullshit you're feeding them, but they can't leave because you won't give up that 2-witness rule.
So, you kind of changed the subject there a minute, but I just wanted to go back to the Australian Royal Commission and the redress and how Watchtower won't, be part of this. From what I see going on in the media worldwide is the Catholic Church is admitting they have a problem. They have apologized. The Pope himself apologized. They've joined this redress in Australia, and other dioceses worldwide, at least a lot in this country, are setting up these funds for these abuse survivors. So what I see, it looks like the Catholic Church is more loving and that their God is telling them, you've got a problem, and apologize.
Yeah, and Watchtower, make no mistake about it, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, make no mistake about it, current Jehovah's Witnesses, make no mistake about it. At some point, this organization is going to be forced to do the same thing, or just the opposite is going to happen. Your doors will shut. Because when Kim and I are aware that elders are now getting sued by the tune of $10,000 and $20,000 because of the RICO law. The RICO law is aiding and abetting criminal activity.
Guess what?
Guess what?
When you don't report child abuse,
you are aiding and abetting a criminal organization. That's exactly what this becomes. And you're going to hear more and more and more in the news how Jehovah Witness elders are going to get sued for aiding and abetting because the RICO law is in place. It just takes a little bit more research, a little bit more connecting the dots, finding these laws that we as XJWs are not aware of, and we are making the victims of this criminal organization aware of these laws. Use them to your benefit. That's why I've said the face of activism is changing. The thing is we want a Watchtower gone today, right now. That's not going to happen. It's going to take some time because, as you can see, these guys, these jazz honkies, are stubborn. We will never get rid of the 2-witness rule.
yeah,
They're stubborn. They're so arrogant. They're so full of pride that they're not even willing to say, we're sorry. Yes, we have taken the wrong path and trying to protect the face of, our members going from door to door. But now, Watchtower, you don't need to protect nothing anymore because your members can't even stand at their own carts. They're packing the crap up and leaving. There's nothing to protect because your own people cannot stand face to face with somebody challenging the abuse problem that you have. All they do is pack up and run away. Run away. We can't defend it. Let's run away. Let's pick up our iPads. Let's pick up our little phones and go find another little coffee shop to sit next to until the next XJW decides to crash the cart. What's going to happen, Jehovah's Witnesses, is you're going to get so sick and tired of running away with these little carts that you're no longer going to want to go out and do it.
Well, I was going to say, the last time we went to Albuquerque, I was driving, and we're driving out of town.
I wish I'd have had a camera.
Yeah, and we stopped on the way back. You know, we slowed down, actually, to see if he was still there. But there's a Kingdom Hall just as you're leaving Albuquerque and heading east. And we were on, like, old Route 66,
yes.
I believe. And there's, like, a housing, development there. And there's, like, a Kingdom Hall tucked away, like, behind it.
Just around the corner from it.
And here's this guy with his cart, this JW.
Two sisters.
All right. I'll let you tell the story there. I was driving.
Because she was actually driving, and I actually had to look back and say, oh, my God. What made this so interesting is that around the Kingdom Hall, like Kim said, there's this apartment complex, and there's probably a 8, 9, 10-foot brick wall. And these two sisters with their little cart was up against the brick wall. They had their cart set out, and there was nobody around.
There's
nobody.
There's no sidewalks. There's no parking lots. There's no traffic. It's like the highway, the emergency lane, a curb, and then dirt over to the brick wall.
So I'm sitting there wondering, why in the hell are they sitting up literally in the middle of nowhere? I mean, if you were a person living in this apartment complex, you wouldn't walk around the corner to talk to these two J-dubs. You just wouldn't do it because it's not practical. It's right along a busy highway, old Highway 66. But it wasn't until I re-trip home that the dots connected.
There is like a farmer's market. They have like selling sweet corn and honey and vegetables and stuff like that that's set up in that space.
Yeah. So what these two JW sisters did is they get out there early before the farmer's market, before anybody was even there. Because like I said, when we passed by, I'm looking and saying, why the hell are they standing there all set up when there is nobody around? Well, on our trip home, there was still 1 or 2 vehicles left for the farmer's market. There again, it's along Highway 66. There's not much room for parking. There's 0 room for parking. So it's like, So how pathetic that these Jehovah's Witnesses with their little literature carts are set up in what is nothing more than a 1 or 2 vehicle shopping market for produce. It's like, are you guys that desperate to peddle magazines?
Well, what did your coworker Adden tell you about the Pinto Bean Festival that they have in this area? In fact, up at Moriarty, there's a big Pinto Bean Festival.
Pinto Bean Festival.
Apparently, this is known as the Pinto Bean Festival of the world, or capital of the world. But up in Moriarty, they have this festival, and there's usually like, traders or, vendors, and sometimes they have a carnival and they have the pumpkin chunkin'.
That was last weekend.
Look it up on YouTube if you don't know what pumpkin chunkin' is.
I mean, this is what...
And they have a table set up, a little stand set up in the middle of all this.
Yeah, and this is what the Watchtower Babel Crap Society has come to. We've won the war, friends. We've won the war. I mean, my goodness, when some of the XJWs have gone back and watched some of the issues, some of the videos that Kim and I have done regarding subliminal images, and then you come out and point one in here, what does the Bible really teach? It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. Look at that page. Let me get my glasses on unless you can see it.
60.
page 60. What a nice little husband and wife picture. I mean, my goodness, she's got a flower right there that she's sniffing. The husband looks like he's happy. She looks like she's on top of the world. Well, wait a minute. She's on top of something, but it ain't the world. Look down.
Where her ankles are
Where her
crossed?
ankles are crossed. Look there. Focus on that.
What the heck is that?
There is not one woman in this world that would sit on top of what this woman is sitting on top of. Not one woman, because it's got to be the most uncomfortable thing in the world to sit on.
Well, you wouldn't put your crossed ankles on top of anything, that small, without support, because your ankles are going to get sore.
If you have a hard time seeing it, friends, go get a magnifying glass. And then you got to ask yourself, why would you trust the faithful and discreet slave? I mean, after all, Jesus is handing this crap right down directly to the faithful and discreet slave.
Well, here, just zoom in right there. What the heck is that next to her ankle? Because see, there's her foot, her other foot.
Doesn't matter what the hell it is. It's uncomfortable as hell.
Well, see, there's her shoe. So
Yeah.
her leg is going up like that, and there's the other leg. So what the heck is that?
That woman has got to be a complete moron to sit right there and to cross her legs on top of whatever that is.
Well, I was going to say, at first I looked at it and it's like, okay, well, that must be a part of the stone. And it's like, no, wait a minute.
No, it's not. It's a different color.
It's a different color. I mean, it's
not a plant. It's too wide
it's like really dark
to
skin
be a plant.
tone. It's really dark skin tone color.
Subliminal messaging, friends. You wonder why Watchtower has a sexual predator problem. Because these things speak to your subconscious, and it's finding life in this predator organization.
Yeah.
I mean, Watchtower, you guys are done. It's as simple as that. Give it up.
Yep, exactly. So I want to thank everybody for everything.
Oh, by the way, thank you for the friend on Facebook that pointed this out. We
Yes.
forgot that.
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't write down your name on my post-it note. And the way Mike's talking, gesturing here, it probably went flying.
Well, it's actually my fault because this has been on my table between our recliners for about a week and a half now, and I think I probably lost the note with the name. It's my apologies.
He usually does.
All right.
So thank you, everybody, for your love and, friendship, and for watching our videos and all your comments. We really appreciate, the interaction and helping us out in the comments, because we don't always get a chance to answer everyone. And all the videos that we watch of XJWs, some have mentioned, oh, well, you never make a comment. Well, we may not make a comment, but we do watch them. And, we just, with watching so many, we just don't have a chance to, comment with everyone. Not only that, but we watch it in our living room on our TV. And you can't make comments, that way. You have to be on the computer to make comments.
Yeah.
At least we can.
And there's other things as to why we don't leave comments. Sometimes it might be the nature of the video, such as Serpent Dawn's video. I'm making the comment public because there's a lot of Christian types that hate
Bible bullies
that hate what I'm saying, and if I go and validate, or Kim validates something in the comment section, then you're going to end up getting those Bible bullies in your direction, and then you're going to end up facing what Kim and I have been facing for the past 10 or 12 months.
Yeah, and it's very difficult, when you can't even make a comment to somebody and they take it wrong or take it out of context. That happens a lot too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
it does.
Yeah, and then you get accused of being haters, jealous haters.
Yeah.
So
So
a lot of times
BS.
we choose not to make comments because, we wouldn't want to detract from the video.
Yeah, so Serpent Dawn, if you have any problem with the Bible bullies, just tell them to go bite you or something. Well, it just gets ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
That you're trying to, help people recognize that when they pray and say, "Oh God, please forgive me. I'm a sinful, weak person.
I'm worthless."
What you're doing is you're actually demoralizing your value. What's the specific word I'm looking for?
You're killing your self-esteem.
That's the word. You're destroying your self-esteem by continuously reminding yourself that you think you're worthless. That's what cults do.
And you're also putting that negativity in your brain that you're not worth anything, and that, oh, God is going to destroy you, and, all of this crap. And no. You're worth, we all have something to add, to the universe. And we've been watching a lot of videos lately, and we're basically antennas. And Tesla, the famous, genius Tesla, he was getting in tuned with the frequency in this universe. And that's what it's all about, is, getting in tune with this. And even, for those who are believers and pray, or even if you just talk to the universe, or just putting out these feelings. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of new age, but I mean, it's a proven fact that, whatever you're putting out into the universe is what you're going to get back.
But it's not new age. This is how, honestly, guys, Jesus Christ said, "What you sow, you will reap." Well, if you're sitting here praying, "I'm worthless, I'm no good," that's all you're going to get back is a worthless and I'm no good. But if you say
Negative.
something positive, you're going to get positive energy back. Start growing above the indoctrinating BS of these cults and these religions.
Well, we get a lot of people saying, you guys seem so together and do so well once you've left, Watchtower and that indoctrination. Well, that's the thing. Positive energy, and, you are worth something. Don't let Watchtower and these cults win, no matter
Right.
what cult you're in. It isn't just Watchtower, it's all of them. They just want to beat you down.
Well, when they beat you down, they can control you. They can actually control you. And a lot of that mechanism is also found in this same book, that you can find your freedom. If I've said it once, I've said it at least a dozen or so times. Be very careful how you use this book. If you use it to control people, it becomes the tool of our enemy. If you use it to free people, then it becomes the tool of our Messiah.
But I know some in the European countries, they don't know what beat down means, because, we've used that term before, and they're like, well, what do you mean, we're beat? And it's not that, Watchtower has beaten you, or that it has won over you. That's not what it means. Beaten down means to diminish someone, to make them feel worthless. Self-worth. And just take their self-esteem and, you're totally worthless. I don't even know why, you stay around. That is beating down somebody. And that's what these cults do.
Mentally. It's a mental
just
beating.
remember, positive, love, kindness. And if any negativity in your life, get rid of it. Toxic friends that are negative and calling you names and stuff, just be done with them.
Yep.
Tell
them bye.
If you lose respect for somebody because of something they said, you don't have to be friends with them. Goodbye. They're toxic.
Exactly.
And they will beat you down. And this is what we've been dealing with for the past 10 months. So I think we're getting to know, this type of personality, and some may not be full bullies, but they use the same tactics.
Right.
Of verbal and mental abuse.
Right, exactly.
And that's what they use. Oh, well, I knew this, or I did this. That's what they use. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
They will use this because it's negativity. And guess what? If you let it stick in your mind, then you go, oh, yeah, I guess they're right. You know, I'm just a horrible person. Oh, I'm so sorry. No. Don't do that.
Don't do that to yourself, because
Get rid of the toxic.
It demoralizes you. You know, it's just like this whole thing regarding the 2-witness rule. You know, there are some out there that like to think that it's because of a certain activist thing or a certain thing that was done that we forced Watchtower's hands. No. We've been talking about Watchtower getting rid of this 2-witness rule for a long time now. It's not one person, it's not one method of activism that does it. It's a group combined effort.
Well, not only that, but we know that it was right after the Australian Royal
Exactly.
Commission came out with their final findings. You know, so for someone to say, oh, well, it was because of me we did this. No.
You need to lose the ego if you think that way, because that's exactly what it is. It's an ego-derived trip. There's something else, there's something else in your life that's bringing you down that you have to point to this to now bring yourself up above everyone. It's like I can see through the bullshit like I can see through Watchtower's bullshit.
And this is why Mike and I keep saying, we, other activists, we don't wake anybody up.
That's right. We don't do it.
We don't cause change. You know, maybe a few little things here and there, you know, we've actually done videos and then we see a change within a couple of months. But I mean, it's just little stuff, you know, like the fire safety at the Kingdom Hall, you know. But as far as a big doctrine change, we don't wake up Jehovah's Witnesses. There's got to be, you know, a question, and they got to be asking questions. There's got to be some doubt, you know, there's got to be something first. So
Right.
they wake up. They start waking up. They have these doubts. They have these questions. And, you know, they may watch some videos on YouTube and then, you know,
You
they
get the answers.
finish waking up. But it starts with them first. So for
Exactly.
anybody to say, oh, look at all the people I'm waking up, or look what I've done.
No, not
that's
at all.
just ego.
That's just ego. That's all it is. It's just ego. Because that ego's built up because they're lacking something else in life.
Yeah, that's just ego. So be kind to one another, and just remember that you're all worth something. Don't let anybody beat you down and make you feel worthless. And don't think that, you know, you're worthless before God's eyes, because you're not. You're not. You're part of His creation.
You're worth more than what these cults will tell you you're worth. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're His creation, how can you possibly be worthless? You're not. Just wanted to cut in here real quick and add just a couple of things that we forgot. And I also had some things come in this morning that I just wanted to add real quick to this instead of doing another video. Because Ben sent us another quote. This is from the November 1st, 1931 Watchtower, page 327. Paragraph 19, about a third of the way down. The Watchtower recognizes the truth as belonging to Jehovah and not to any creature. The Watchtower is not the instrument of any man or set of men, nor is it published according to the whims of men. No man's opinion is expressed in the Watchtower. God feeds His own people, and surely God uses those who love and serve Him according to His own will. Those who oppose the Watchtower are not capable of discerning the truth that God is giving to the children of His organization. And this is the very strongest proof that such opposers are not of God's organization. Of a certainty, no one can cite an instance in which the Watchtower during the past few years has attempted to laud or magnify any man's name, but at all times it has diligently sought to give honor to Jehovah's name. Interesting. All right. And I want to also mention Clark so sorry for your loss, and thank you for being willing to share this with everybody. And I just want to mention here, another witness has died for refusing a blood transfusion. And it was going to be a long surgery. And about 9 hours into the surgery, the JW woman went into cardiac arrest. And the surgeon said he worked for 30 minutes trying to revive her, but to no avail. He said that she had lost a lot of blood, and if he had been able to give her at least 4 pints of blood, he would have been able to revive her. So she's another fatality because of the no blood stance. You know, when is this human sacrifice gonna stop? This is ridiculous, you know. And so our hearts go out to the family. And he says, please use this story for any future videos you guys do. It was sad. It was avoidable to a certain degree. I realize with her medical condition that there's no telling she would have pulled through, even with blood. Still, with a high risk, I would think that the Heavenly Father would have wanted her life to be saved. So, yeah, you know. All right. Now, some of you have watched the Channel 5 news report I put on the channel, probably about a week ago, about the volunteers, and it sounds like they're helping the whole community after the floods that was going on in Texas. And I want to thank Emily so much. Thank you, sweetie. She was so pissed off and triggered by that news report that she actually contacted the news station, and she has given me permission to read what she wrote to the news station, and I wanted to share this with everybody. Dear Channel 5, I watched with great interest the news report this week about a group of Jehovah's Witnesses from all over the United States who are still here in the Valley, and specifically the West Laco area, helping to rebuild the community after the June floods. Your story appeared to show a group of individuals giving back to a community of which none of them are even members. It's just the kind of feel-good news story we need in these troubled times. It is incumbent upon me, however, as someone who knows the truth behind the scenes, to share with you that the homes which were being rebuilt at no cost are homes of only Jehovah's Witnesses in good standing with their congregations. No homes of anyone worldly, as Jehovah's Witnesses call us, will be repaired. Mr. Stewart, who is the disaster relief coordinator for Jehovah's Witnesses, chose his words very carefully to give the impression that they are giving back to the community. This is not the case here in the Rio Grande Valley. Nor was it the case last year in Houston after Hurricane Harvey. Nor has it ever been the case after any disaster worldwide that Jehovah's Witnesses provide any type of humanitarian aid to anyone who is not affiliated with their organization. Furthermore, what you do not know is that all of those local members of the Jehovah's Witness congregation who did have their homes rebuilt are required to hand over their FEMA checks to the Watchtower Corporation in New York in exchange for the free repairs done to their homes and businesses. I personally know many individuals who have had to hand over their FEMA checks. If you would like for me to verify this for you, I must ask if this practice qualifies as humanitarian aid. Not only is it not humanitarian aid, it is not ethical, moral, or Christian. A few weeks ago, you ran a very shocking story on your Facebook page about a $35 million lawsuit Jehovah's Witnesses must pay to 2 sexual abuse victims in Montana. There's your real story. The global and systematic protection of pedophiles and abusers in the worldwide Jehovah Witness organization, which is based on their 2-witness policy. In short, there must be 2 witnesses to a crime or accusation before any victim will be believed or any action might be taken. Next month, actress Leah Remini will expose in her A&E series the Jehovah Witnesses for their dangerous practices. So thank you, Emily. And I also want to mention that I was contacted by an XJW, and I'm not going to mention their name or state because of repercussions on their entire family. But I just want to mention that her daughter has been admitted into the hospital with heart problems and is in ICU. And for those of you in other countries, that's intensive care unit. So, I mean, it's not good. And the Jehovah's Witnesses are there along with the, elders, and I'm sure the hospital liaison committee. And they will not let her own mother in the room to see her because she is not in good standing. She's not an apostate, but just because she's not a regular meeting attender, they will not let her in the room. So there's your real story too. That's how insidious this organization is. And you can see why Mike and I are so passionate and so angry, of what this cult does. And it isn't just Jehovah's Witnesses. It's all of them. It's all of them. And, so I also want to mention there's been about 3 people that have been sending me a lot of, emails, and I do appreciate all of you guys sending me, research and information, but, when it gets to the point to where it's too much, it's clogging up my Gmail, and I'm not sure, I may have possibly lost some of them. So if you guys don't hear from me in like 3 or 4 months, please send me another one. I'm also trying to work on the nail and coffin, but because of the over 300 emails that, I have gotten in just the past couple of weeks, it's just really clogged down. And to add to that, I'm having computer problems. I've got a 6.5-year-old computer and it's giving me problems, and I know several of you are wanting to Skype with us. I can't even run the Skype program with my computer. I have no microphone. Nothing is wanting to work. The audio isn't wanting to work. And the problem is when you get these old computers is then it's not wanting to work with your software and your programs, and with the internet. So, I've got the old Windows 7 and, like I said, a 6.5 to 7-year-old computer, and I'm having issues. So I appreciate your guys' patience on all of this, and like I said, thank you for your emails and comments and your love and friendship and support. We really appreciate it. So we hope you have a wonderful week. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a Throwback Thursday up, like I said, with computer issues. And unfortunately, I need my video program, to edit videos and stuff. I don't have smartphones, and Mike and I, neither one of us have smartphones. So, if it crashes, we're done. Exactly. So just remember that. Positive, and don't let the negativity and the toxicity and the hate get you down. And is that it?
I hope that's it.
Long enough video. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah, this was only supposed to be a few-minute video.
Well, you're the one that goes ranting off for 20 minutes. So, we love you, and take care, and God bless.
Bye.
Bye.